Look, just make sure they do. Look, I don't mind if they put starch in the collars, but last time they just took the collars off and didn't put them back. I don't even know how they. Oh, sorry. One, two, three, four. It's Wednesday. I'm in love. Hi, everybody. My name is Jimmy. It's Thursday, technically, but I am in love with comic books. So let's talk about them, shall we? Let's start with picks of the week. Ba-da, ba-da, ba-da. Can you hand me the... I have to go get them myself. Who's running this? Anyway. All right, first this week, everybody, we have the return of Redneck. This is number 25. This is a new arc. The last arc ended on a bit of a cliffhanger, twist ending, big thing. I've forgotten. Comics now have a tendency to take breaks in between story arcs, and I read so many comics and have got so many other things going on that I often forget what's going on in these books until I start reading them, and then I go, oh yeah, okay, right. New arc, I'm sure it's going to be great. It's written by Donny Cates, who is hot shot over at Marvel Comics these days. He's still doing this book on Image. I'm under the impression, because a lot of his more indie stuff has taken a back seat. This is the only book that I can think of off the top of my head that's not Marvel that he's writing right now. But when you're the new writer on Thor having to follow Jason Aaron, you probably want to focus on that quite a bit. I knew Donny Cates pre-Marvel. That's kind of the cool thing about Marvel these days, and it might be true at DC, but I don't read enough DC to be able to tell. Most of the guys writing for Marvel Comics these days, Donny Cates, Matthew Rosenberg, others. Fudge. Who else? A lot of these guys I knew, they all kind of cut their teeth on indie comics, and very punk rock indie comics. But, you know, they're also a bunch of Marvel nerds. I'm saying that they all remind me of me. And that doesn't matter. The artist on Redneck is a fellow by the name of Lisandro Esterin, and I'm probably mispronouncing that. He is Argentinian, and he's very good. I looked to it a little deeper. I realized I'd never read anything by him before. I'm sure he's got stuff in Argentina. You know, South America is a huge market for comic books. And in fact, most other parts of the world take comic books more seriously than the United States does. What do you know about that? Huh? Social relevance. All right, following that, we have Quantum and Woody #1. This is now the 4th Quantum and Woody #1, or possibly the 5th. Quantum and Woody, for the uninitiated, were originally, or is still, a property of the Valiant Comics group. Valiant Comics was started by former Marvel editor-in-chief Jim Shooter, who brought in one of his old proteges called Christopher Priest to, well, his name was Jim Owsley when they worked together at Marvel. He changed his name to Christopher Priest. And he created this team, Quantum and Woody, for Valiant. The basic premise is you have 2 adopted brothers who are polar opposites, and then they get imbued with these superpowers. But the catch is every 24 hours they have these armbands, these wristbands, metal. They need to clang them against one another. Otherwise, they'll both just disintegrate. It like keeps their molecules stable or what have you. And they kind of hate each other in a way that only like adopted brothers could. So it's you know, it's played for laughs a lot of time, but it's really good superhero stuff and also very funny. So I'm super stoked for another one. I hope this one lasts, because the last 2 series have not. The last series I think was only 6 issues, which it might as well just have been a mini at that point. And that was written by Daniel Kibblesmith, who's also a very good comedy writer. And then the series previous, I don't remember who wrote that one. Shit. But it was really good. And it lasted more than a year, I want to say. So this one is written by Christopher Hastings, whom I know his name, but I'm not very familiar with his work. He's written a couple littler things for Marvel. Deadpool, Fear Itself, Longshot Saves the Marvel Universe. 2 titles that I read and own. Don't remember anything about them. And then he wrote Gwenpool for a long time, but I have not read that title yet. So, I mean, it's a pretty good pedigree. I'm, reasonably assured it'll be good. Same with our next book, which is Weapon Plus, World War IV. It's the goddamn Man-Thing as a soldier of fortune. Boy, you do not want to feel my nipples right now. I am super stoked on this book. They've been doing a lot of these Marvel's been doing a lot of these kind of one-shot Weapon X, Weapon H, Weapon Plus books, and I'm all for them. I don't know why they don't make it a regular series. I'm a big Wolverine guy, and so anything even tangentially, but it also, like, Weapon H was the last one, and it was bananas. Roxxon Incorporated took a dead soldier, like this mercenary guy, and turned him into a Hulk with adamantium skeleton and claws. So he's a Hulkverine. What? What's not to like? So this looks like they're going to give the Man-Thing a similar treatment. And Man-Thing is another favorite character of mine. I mean, it's a Marvel character. I love them all. Also, I don't know if you could see that little thing. They're bringing Brute Force back. Brute Force was a 4-issue limited series from 1990. And I bought it when it came out. And it was like, if you've ever read We 3 by Grant Morrison, it is actually Brute Force beat him to that premise. It's about animals who have become like cyborgs, and now they fight for the earth and its ecology. If you were around in the late 80s, early 90s, you remember how kind of trendy environmentalism got, and Brute Force is a proof of that. So I'm excited. To get back to the Man-Thing part of it, though, it's written by Benjamin Percy, who's been writing a lot more for Marvel lately. He started out as a novelist. He's got like 4 or 5 novels under his belt. And then he started writing for DC 40 years ago. I think his first book was Green Arrow Rebirth. And that was a big, big seller. It was a big hit. I didn't read it. That was the 2016 DC reboot. I'm sure there'll be another one any minute now. So I never read any of his DC stuff. He has been writing X-Force for Marvel, which I have been enjoying thus far. And he's going to be writing Wolverine, which is the first solo Wolverine title in almost 4 years. So that's going to be, I hope I hope it's good. Should be as simple as that. But I have, going off of his, why can't words come out of my face? His X-Force issues that I've read so far, there's only like 5. It'll be fine. Anyway, that was Picks of the Week. Ba-da. And now it's Picks of last week. Woo! So efficient. Oh boy, I'm trying to keep this at 10 minutes and I am not succeeding. All right, so last week I brought up Ghostbusters Year 1. This was great. I caught up on all the Ghostbusters stuff, except that I think there's a Ghostbusters Transformers mini that slipped past me. I kind of skip those sometimes. They did a team up with the Ninja Turtles once. It's fine. I'll get them eventually because I'm a completist, but I don't feel the need to like run out and get a Eric Burnham Ghostbusters book if it's one of those. But this was fun, and it was kind of what I was expecting in that it's telling the story of the Ghostbusters that we saw in the film, but with kind of more... Like, there's that scene in the first Ghostbusters movie where Winston gets hired and you just see a very brief interview that Janine gives him and then Ray hires him on the spot. There's more to that. So stuff like that, that's fun. Also, that's another good thing about Burnham's Ghostbusters run in general, is that he's given Winston far more to do, which is good because he didn't have as much, it's a shame because Ernie Hudson's a great actor. So it's a shame that the movie where he got to play Winston Zeddemore the most was the god-awful sequel to the first movie. So what do you know? After that, last week I also read American Gods, The Moment of the Storm. Number 9, this is the final issue of this adaptation of the Neil Gaiman novel. And, I mean, it was great because it's good. Also, I realize now that people don't generally read single issues anymore. I think the majority of comic book purchases and readings are trade paperbacks. So you won't notice this, but this is very much a PS. Like the big conclusion of the story had been in the issue previous. So this is more just kind of an epilogue almost. Gaiman did write another short story with Shadow, who's the protagonist of this book. And I wonder if they're going to tack that on as like a bonus track or something. I don't know. But that would be cool if they did. Anyway. And then after that, we had American Jesus 1 and 2, because I missed the first issue. And yeah, this is good stuff so far as well. The more I'm looking into it and the more I'm thinking about it, my theory that Millar is trying to get American Jesus screenplay off the ground again has a lot to do with why it feels a little not tacked on or unnecessary, but also like not very inspired, which I think is most people can see that about Mark Millar. I like Mark Millar, but I'm always defending him because most people don't like him, and also he can whatever. Why do I talk about these guys like they're my friends? I don't know Mark Millar. What the hell does he need me to defend him from? Because my friend Cameron doesn't like him? That's mostly who I'm thinking of. Hey, Cameron, if you're watching this. Anyway, what did you guys want to talk about? All right, no, that's enough. I'm sorry if it seems like I'm in a hurry, but frankly, I don't want to lay down and read comic books. That's my afternoon. Anyway, so, damn it, I forgot what my catchphrase is. Can somebody call in? It doesn't matter. All right, we'll see you next week. 2, 3, 4. Da da ba ba beep ba boo. Dee 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 dee.